Welcome to another Eternal video. I'm super excited since the new set Behemoths of Thera drops on January 18th. So I wanted to start off this new set rotation strong and put out a video for you guys where I talk about the new effects, card mechanics that we can see in the new set. That way you guys, and this is helpful for me, can start off this new set strong, drafting, and hopefully winning some solid gold. If you like the video, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get right into it. So first thing right off the bat, they're bringing back the market into the new set, and that's big because, man, it's been maybe, I think, since Empire of Glass that we actually had the market in draft. Now, if you play a lot of Throne, you'll probably be well acquainted with this, but I'll go over it in terms of draft since it's going to be a really important mechanic going forward. So, if you guys didn't know, the market is actually up to 5 cards. You can only include 1 copy of a card in your market that you can use throughout the game if you have a spell or a unit that has an effect that lets you interact with the market. So most commonly, the best way to utilize your market is to put very specific niche cards, or maybe you want to put some later game cards in there. And the reason is, let's go to a card. We'll show you how you can actually interact with the market, and then we'll kind of get into some of the strategy involving it. So there's a full cycle of cards, deliveries. So the red one is Caravan Delivery. You get to draw a fire card from your market. At the end of your turn, if it's still in your hand, put it into the top 5 cards of your deck and then draw a card. So essentially, this gives you access to one of your 5 cards in your market. And that's why I was saying it's really good to put niche and situational cards in there, such as a spell that can kill an attachment if your opponent happens to have a good relic. That's not a card you always want in your main deck because not all of your opponents will have an attachment you want to kill. But if it's situated in your market with a card like this, you can grab that specific card when you need it. I also like to include maybe some higher cost units in there that you don't want to draw early, but later in the game, once you can actually play them, you can fetch them from your market so they don't sit in your hand the whole game not doing anything. Really important things to note that'll change your decisions in the draft because it might make you want a situational card to stick in your market instead of normally you'd be like, this would never make the deck. So that'll add a nice little flavor to the draft that we haven't been able to experience for a while. And during the gameplay, man, it adds a lot of cool decision points. Next effect, let's see if we can find it on a unit here. The next effect in this set that's new, brand new mechanic, is called Hunt. Really cool effect. So let's see, Granite Beetle here, 4 cost, 2/2 charge, summon Hunt 2. Now what Hunt 2 does, well, I'll read it and then I'll explain it in simpler terms. The enemy player discards that many cards from the top of their deck. This unit will get +1/+1 for each non-power thing discarded, and then you draw an advantage with +1 power for each power discarded. So in other words, when you summon this unit, you'll mill the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. If you hit any non-power card, your unit will get stronger for that many, or you get an advantage. Now, what an advantage is, for some reason the card actually isn't in this selection, but it's basically a 0-cost spell that just gives you +1 power for that turn. So it either gives you a power advantage over your opponent by being able to play something sooner than you would be able to, or you get an above rate unit. For example, if this mills 2 non-power cards, you get a 4-cost 4/4 with charge, which is pretty damn good. Now the cool thing about this mechanic is there'll be situations where you want one or the other, but you're kind of happy no matter what happens. Even if this is a 4-cost 3/3, you mill one of each, a power and a non-power, you still get a 3/3, which is an okay rate, and you get a little bit of power advantage. And if you only hit power, you get +2 power on a turn where you can benefit the most from it. That'll let you double spell or really take over the game or have an impactful turn. So you're kind of happy in either scenario. So really cool card, new flavor of the set. It's supposed to be, I don't know, I kind of think about it like Jurassic Park. To note, it's not always just summon effects. There's some hunt that are on spells. There's some that happen repeatably, meaning, so in fact, I can actually, all the way at the end, this is in Power Hunt 1. So basically, each time you use a power card, you hunt one, meaning it'll either grow or give you free power to use on a turn. It'll help you have an impactful turn. So really cool. New flavor for the set. The next thing that's coming back, which people should be more familiar with since it was in some of the reprints and in Cold Hunt as far as the draft pack was concerned back then, is Nightfall. So just a brief refresher, the first Nightfall card played in a turn makes it night and extends it by a turn for each player. And basically what all that means is it'll deal 1 damage to your opponent and they draw an additional card during their draw step, and you'll take 1 damage and draw an additional card during your draw step. I explained that really poorly, but basically it's card parity, so you're getting an extra card, also your opponent is, but you did have to spend power to trigger it. There are many cards that have Nightfall that benefit from drawing a second card in a turn that'll offset that small disadvantage of you actually paying the 2 and your opponent getting to draw an extra card. I hope I explained that okay. So basically in this guy's case, Twilight Lantern deals double damage this turn. So that is a benefit to this card for drawing a second card a turn. Something to note, this doesn't necessarily have to be triggered by Nightfall. Some Nightfall cards in the past triggered specifically by it being night. Maybe it gets a power boost, it gets flying, etc. But basically, as long as you can benefit more from it being night than your opponent, overall it'll be a better advantage for you. So as you're drafting, that's something you want to keep in mind in your head when drafting many cards with Nightfall. Now another really cool recurring mechanic coming back in the set is Spellcraft. And all Spellcraft is basically you pay an additional whatever the Spellcraft number is, and you get a free, maybe it's a buff on the unit, usually it's a spell of some sort. So this, you play Harmless Question, which, as it says here, stun an enemy unit. I love Spellcraft, because either it's a 2-cost 3/2 fine unit, you want to play it on curve, get some board advantage quickly, or later in the game when you draw it, it has a little more power, so you aren't just top decking these weaker cards later in the game, because at that point, it can play a 4-cost 3/2 that stuns a unit when it's summoned, which is pretty good. So it kind of, I just love mechanics that play on both sides of the game. Good early and gives you more power or more strength later in the game. It just makes limited games so much more fun. Okay, and the last new mechanic in the set is Versatile. Really cool idea here. So basically, this can be played as either a relic weapon or a unit weapon. That's like a weird way to say that, but I guess that makes it more specific. So really good, this card can either act as removal if you need it, or it can be a weapon on a unit if that's the most advantageous thing for your card. And once again, kind of similar to Spellcraft, the card being stronger either in the early game or the late game, in more situations, Versatile also gives you more options. The more options you have, the stronger the card, the more impactful the card is going to be in each situation where you play it. So, super good. If you're winning, your opponent's got no removal, or you have a unit with Aegis or flying, whatever, slap it on it, go to town, or it can be a solid 3/1 relic weapon in terms of removal. Something to note, that they did specify on the website in one of their posts. So I should also mention that all of this information Direwolf's been posting on their main website, so you can look at all the different new card effects and mechanics in the set explained there if you want. Whichever you choose, the card is going to act like that once you've made that decision. What I mean by that is if you use this as a weapon on your unit, an effect or something that would just kill a relic weapon won't affect the card, because now it is just a weapon on that unit, and vice versa. So just something to keep in note. Well, there you have it. Those are the card effects and the new mechanics in the new set Behemoths of Thera coming out on the 18th. So please stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, that way you can know when my video pops out for the first draft of the set. Is always super exciting, and I hope I'll see you guys there. Catch you in the next one. Peace!